That's Tix 497.7. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on this Thursday. Little temperature change out there right now with the rain and everything. 65 degrees here in the Tennessee Valley. So safe travels into work, into school. A little wet out there on the roadways this morning, so be a little extra careful. 256-576-4977. That's how you can join the show. You can join the program this morning. Got a lot of college football conversation as usual, and a lot of it, not all of it, some of it centers around the quarterback battle or position, whatever you want to call it, down on the plains. The Auburn Tigers getting ready to take on New Mexico this weekend. Now, New Mexico is not a great football team. They're an okay football team. They did find a way to put up 30 points against a top 25 Arizona squad. So they're capable of putting up points. But I think come Saturday inside Jordan-Hare Stadium, it is safe to say that all eyes will be on the quarterback position and Peyton Thorne. How does he rebound from last week's performance against Cal? Yesterday on the SEC coaches teleconference, of course, Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze was going to be asked, and asked he was, about the quarterback position with the Auburn Tigers. And in quote, Hugh Freeze says that it's going to be a short leash on playing as poorly as we did in certain moments in that game at that position. After watching the film, there's a very short leash on us playing as poorly as we did in certain moments in that game at that position. End quote. That was Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze yesterday on the SEC teleconference. What does that mean? How short of a leash is Peyton Thorne on? Hank Brown has been getting some more reps in practice this week. Does that mean if Peyton Thorne goes out and throws a few incomplete passes, does Hank Brown come in? If Peyton Thorne throws one INT, does Hank Brown come in? When he says short leash, how short of a leash is it for Peyton Thorne? He says, I know the quarterbacks always get a ton of criticism, and it's not always exactly them, but there are plays that we had that he, and he being Peyton Thorne, are expected to make that he didn't make in the game in critical moments, so he's got to produce for sure. There you go. That was Hugh Freeze's comments from the SEC teleconference. Just how short of a leash is Peyton Thorne actually on?
Probably pretty short. But the left tackle needs to learn how to block. Left guard needs to learn how to block. Center needs to learn how to block. Right guard needs to learn how to block. And same with the right tackle. So they didn't exactly tear it up in the running game against Cal either. So, I definitely think Peyton Thorne has to pick it up and play better. But, I don't think that it's all on the quarterback.
Aaron Murray has broken down a lot of film, the former Georgia quarterback, and he had some responses, and he says, listen to Aaron Murray's reaction.
I don't think that the play calls are terrible. I think the execution from the players is something. And once again, I don't know if that's player driven, where the players aren't doing what they're supposed to do, or if that is how they're coached. So that kind of goes hand in hand. And obviously if they're doing something wrong, like a running back not running into the flat and sitting on a little check down in front of the curl window, that's either you're not teaching him what to do properly, or you're pulling a route concept. To me, from all my experience playing the position, doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. So like that still goes back to the coaching staff of ingraining something into these guys where they can go out there and execute at a high level. But I will agree, like the majority of the game plan looked fine. There are missed throws, there are missed opportunities that, once again, Payne has to go out there and just let it rip. The problem is right now he's not I don't think he's in a position where he feels comfortable. So I just did a Cade Klubnik breakdown where I went back from week 1 to week 2 and kind of diagrammed what he did wrong versus Georgia and why he obviously had more success versus App State. One, it's a completely different defense, a lot easier to go out there versus App State compared to Georgia's defense. But you could see the confidence and just letting it rip. He felt more free. He looked more free. He looked more confident. Right now, it's hard being the Auburn quarterback when you're not having success to go out there and play with confidence. And I think that's something that Payne's going to have to battle this entire season. But going back to your question, I agree. I thought the game plan calls were fine. Just some tweaks that need to be made on certain plays.
Well, what I take from that comment from Aaron Murray is the veiled, not comfortable. That's on the coaching staff to me. I mean, if you can't make your quarterback comfortable and confident in what he's executing, then that's on you. And so and we'll see. I mean, we've seen Payton Thorne play well at times. He did a pretty decent job in the Iron Bowl last year running and then making some plays with his arm. And against Georgia, they played Georgia tough, but he's had other moments like the Cal game. This is not the first bad game that he's had. And so
it's just something we're just going to have to – Auburn fans are going to have to live with, just the up and down play of Payton Thorne.
And maybe – if they give Hank Brown a chance, maybe Hank Brown, who was recruited by Hugh Freeze to Liberty and who's, been ingrained in that offense probably, since he got to Auburn. And really, I don't know his background is like what they did offensively in high school, but a lot of high schools run this RPO offense. And so maybe he's more comfortable in it, because I don't really think that Payton Thorne ran an RPO-based attack at Michigan State. So I think it's a little bit different. They don't do a lot of that in the Big Ten. It's a little bit different style, and it may be a situation where Payton Thorne just hasn't been comfortable since he's got there. And, if you're not comfortable in the offense, then, things aren't going to go as smoothly. I think Thorne's a good leader from everything that I've read and been told. He seems like a good kid. I know he was on Radio Row, dapperly dressed. So I don't think the leadership situation is a problem in getting respect from his teammates in that regard. You just have to go out and play football and play well. But, they've totally revamped the receiver core. They're just 2 games in. They had a really good afternoon against Alabama A&M, and there was some confidence built. But then it seemed to quickly erode against Cal because Cal was very physical. And the funny thing is, though, they got off to a great start. I mean, I think he was 5 for 7, and he threw a touchdown the first drive, and it looked like Auburn was going to keep rolling. And then Cal made some adjustments, and to me, that's coaching. I mean, I know that there were some opportunities missed, but then, it really lasted the rest of the football game. So if you're Hugh Freeze and this coaching staff, what adjustments did you try to make to get your quarterback comfortable?
Right.
But it also goes back to this. They weren't blocking up front. I mean, I don't really care if you run an RPO, an option offense, a zone read option or a pro style or whatever. If you can't block the guy in front of you, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like what I said about Nick Sheridan, who took some heat this week from Alabama fans because Alabama struggled for 3+ quarters. But if you're not blocking people and they're blitzing from all over the place, then
or if you're putting yourself in long distances, 2nd and 18.
But of course, we've heard Hugh already say that, there was 2 or 3 opportunities where guys were wide open and Payton Thorne missed them. But that could also come from not trusting your protection too. Because I think that was a situation with Alabama last week. I don't think Milroe trusted his protection at times and got a little frustrated. So, that's the way things work. And so Like I've said, this is a big game for Auburn coming up. They need to gain some confidence from New Mexico. New Mexico's averaging, over 30 points per game, but
they put up 30 on a top
but
25
they're
Arizona
giving up
team.
nearly 50.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, they don't exactly stop anyone. So Auburn needs to come out, score some points, get some stops on defense, and not struggle. They need to ease by New Mexico because the rest of their schedule is very difficult.
256-576-4977. You can join the program. Mark from Spring Hill is with us. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good morning.
Hey, I guess I'll jump in on the Auburn discussion. If you're at home and you score on your first drive and then you don't score again, and we talk about being comfortable, and I do agree with you about the offensive line. I've learned that this last week with Alabama. And the head coach is saying you're on a short leash. Why don't you change quarterbacks? I mean, that's what I don't get. I mean, if there's a big difference between your 1 and 2, sounds like there's not because he's on a short leash. Just don't know why you don't make a change at home where you put a second guy in. The first guy clearly is not getting it done, regardless of the line. And your thoughts on that? Why, and another thing is, I don't think, and I've played football, not at the highest level like these guys, but I do know that when you don't have confidence in your quarterback and then you call him out nationally, how is he to get better with that kind of talk from the head coach?
Well, I mean, I'll just say you better hope that he improves quickly and that he takes the criticism. I think it's smarter to me to do it behind closed doors because
Right.
when you're playing quarterback roulette, a lot of times you don't have one, and so or if you make a change, then your backup better play very, very well.
Yeah.
But most of the time we've seen this, now we've seen public benchings. I mean, Steve Spurrier was famous for it. Within the game or even rotating quarterbacks every other play. But I never thought that gained a lot of consistency. But again, we'll see. I mean, I would agree with Scott. I don't think that Thorne's going to have a long leash if he starts out struggling against New Mexico. But I'm sure he's a competitor and he's going to go out and try to execute to the best of his ability. And then if it doesn't work out, then they're going to go to Hank Brown. But Hank Brown doesn't have any game experience.
Yes.
Holden Garner barely any.
That's the thing. Once you decide to make a change, you can't go back from it.
Well, and what I'm saying is like there's no Robbie Ashford this time because Ashford
Right.
had experience and had started for Hugh and things of that nature. And now he's the backup at South Carolina. So if you make this change, you've got young quarterbacks, and then Walker White, he's from Arkansas. He's basically redshirting. They've said he's got great arm talent, but that he's not ready. So the quarterback position is one of extreme inexperience behind Peyton Thorne. So you're going to have to grow, and you're going to have to probably take some more lumps with a very young quarterback. I don't think it's going to be just like a video game where you plug him in and you start rolling. So I really don't think Hugh Freeze wants to make this change because they decided to invest in the supporting cast around Thorne, and they brought Thorne back for another year. And I'll be honest with you, by the end of the year, they'd probably take a look at, okay, how has Hank Brown and Garner and Walker White, how have they progressed? And if they haven't progressed enough, then they're going to go out and get a quarterback in the portal this time and try to because you're trying to keep your receivers on the team. Look, these guys are free agents every year, so if they're not touching the football enough, they may get frustrated and want to go elsewhere, and so you've still got a hornet's nest, created.
And you bring up a good point. This is a non-conference game Saturday.
Right.
Peyton Thorne has started SEC road games. Hank Brown has not.
No, he has not.
Auburn only has like one more home game.
They have two more after this one.
And then it's on the road for a whole month.
Yeah, they've got.
You better be darn sure that you got the right guy there at the quarterback spot, because once you go on the road, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that's what I guess I don't care about Auburn. I mean, pretty clear, but I do care. I do care about treating people with the kind of respect that you want to have as a player Coach Saban did a great job with this way. It looks like DeBoer is going to be that way. And I think at the end of the day, all your great coaches do it that way. And Drew, you nailed it. I mean, you handle your discipline behind closed doors. If you want to get their attention, Coach Saban did it really creatively. I don't want, it doesn't matter. We don't have time for me to go into how he did it, but he could get their attention. I'll put it this way. I got a chance to hear the offensive line coach for the first time. They interviewed him, I think it was yesterday. And I like how he talked about how they asked him about, how is your offensive line responding this week in practice? And he said, well, let's just say we got their attention. And he didn't call out number 75, for example. So, I think there's ways you can do that. And, all your great coaches will take responsibility for what happened. And I don't know, I'm disappointed in Freeze. And I thought he was better than that. And so at the end of the day, I think sometimes you can lose the team also if there's I'm not saying the guy behind him is a Tua Tagovailoa, right? But, when it worked, and there's not a Tua behind this guy, but you never know what that guy is behind him unless you put him in. So anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks, Mark. All right, let's slip in Bryce real fast. Good morning, Bryce.
Hey, Drew.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that was you yesterday when I was at Baumhard, man. I went over and said hi, man.
Yeah, I heard you claimed your pick 2. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Everybody was ready to go put a straitjacket on me when I picked over Auburn. Hey,
yeah, you were the only one to pick Cal, yeah.
Hey, Bryce, you're kind of cutting out there, buddy.
You all right?
Well,
there he goes.
I don't see another win on their schedule that's a gimme. It's one more at the end. I forget who they're playing, but if they don't play good Saturday, they could get beat. Because that team's already beat them once.
Well, that was New Mexico State.
Oh, okay.
They beat them
last year. That was last year, and everybody from New Mexico State basically is playing for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they all left and went to Vandy.
Okay. Well, he's too inconsistent, this quarterback. He's not. You don't know what you're going to get, like a box of chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
He's too inconsistent. And Hugh Freeze, it didn't surprise me that he didn't step up and take the blame because he's too arrogant. He's always trying to put the blame on his other coaches or his players. He's not. Don't get me started on him. Okay. He's about like those guys running against Trump for president. Okay. Now I'm going to leave it at that. And he's in the same class,
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I think Alabama will go out there and take care of business, and that's the first game on the road. I think they'll cover. I mean, I don't know what y'all think, but that's what I think.
I've got them covering 31-13.
Yeah.
Depending on where the spread goes. It's been at 16 for a couple of days.
I think the first quarter, little bit maybe. Wisconsin will hang around, but I think Alabama will wear them down. All right, Bryce, thanks for the phone call, bud.
Well, I got them winning 35-6.
35-6, okay.
And I was at the last time they played them in Dallas. I was living in Dallas then.
Yes, sir.
I think they'll put up a tussle, but if this line of block like they did in the end of fourth quarter, they can score quick. They got weapons.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to have some Caden Proctor and Elijah Pritchett available, very likely. So we'll see how this offensive line then they have not played together yet. This group, how they play on the road for the first road test for Kalen DeBoer. We will see.
All right, Bryce, thanks for the phone call. It is 7:20. We got to get our first break in. When we come back, we'll get back out to the phone lines and talk some more college football. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Morgan County, Antioch Road and Herman Bailey. That one may have a minor injury involved. Had one at Harris Station Road or on Harris Station Road in Limestone County. Overturned vehicle there. That one also reported as an injury type. Highway 20 near Bibb Garrett. That one should be off in a parking lot. 2030 Fast Track can make your clothes fall off. Allison lost 100 pounds in 7 months on the plan. A free quiz will tell you if it can work for you. 2030Huntsville.com. Talkin.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Hey, I'm on vacation.
All right, on vacation.
Yeah, somebody is.
Somebody's on vacation. Well, not on vacation. Somebody's hiding from us.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, if we're going to give you money, don't hide. I mean, come on now. Seriously, I get it. Friday's a big day, but don't hide. Anyway, we're going to have our Team of the Week presentation here on the show coming up in a little bit.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but you did mention something there in the first segment, and it dealt with the Alabama offensive line. There's a lot of questions about what that line will look like and I don't mean betting line. I mean offensive line, as in names and faces, who it will look like, who will be there, who will be available on Saturday in Madison, Wisconsin, because the line started producing in the fourth quarter with Elijah Pritchett in there against South Florida. They scored some points, a lot of momentum. And the question is, will they get Caden Proctor back? Will Elijah Pritchett be in there? What's that line going to look like come Saturday?
Well, I think it's going to, be the third different starting lineup we've seen in 3 games, because game 1, it was, with Caden Proctor going down in warm-ups, it ended up being Elijah Pritchett at left tackle, Tyler Booker at left guard, center Parker Brailsford, the transfer from Washington, Jaden Roberts, the right guard, and the right tackle was Wilkin Formby. And then in game 2, Elijah Pritchett was quote-unquote banged up, and so they were trying to hold him out. Booker got shifted over to left tackle for the majority of if not the entire week, and so they decided to start him at left tackle. Then they made a change at left guard with Booker moving. It was Gino Vandemark, the transfer from Michigan State, and then the rest of the line was the same: center Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts at right guard, and then right tackle Wilkin Formby. But still, Alabama struggled throughout that game until the fourth quarter when Elijah Pritchett was inserted into right tackle, because looking for him. He struggled some, and
Yeah.
Elijah Pritchett played exceptional football. And now in game 3, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'll just, the way I guess to word it is, barring any setbacks, I think Caden Proctor will be at left tackle. Left guard Booker will be back in his spot. Brailsford, Roberts, center right guard, and then we'll see Elijah Pritchett, I think, have his first start at right tackle. So, and this will be a road game against a quality opponent in Wisconsin who comes in at 2-0. While the 2 wins weren't pretty, they were wins.
That's right.
And so they took care of Western Michigan, and then they took care of South Dakota. So 28-14, 27-13. So Alabama's going to come in a significant favorite. But this is the first time this particular offensive line would have played together. We have not seen Caden Proctor play since the Rose Bowl last year against Michigan in an actual game, which, he had an injured ankle in that game as far as like a tightrope situation. And I thought he still played pretty well, especially in the second half. But again, we haven't seen him, and Pritchett was not on the field much. So again, we're going to see this offensive line play together on the road for the first time. Brailsford was not on the team, so it's going to be interesting to see how they react with 80,000 people in the stands that are nice and lathered up with beer sales going throughout the stadium.
Milwaukee's best.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the first time I've heard that term in a long time. Milwaukee's best, yeah.
Hey, I mean,
get
yourself some old Milwaukee and you get real lathered up.
Yeah.
Remember, Laverne and Shirley was based out of Milwaukee.
It was. Yeah. That's right, yeah.
That Bailey, I know, has no idea about Laverne and Shirley.
No, man. I mean, good Lord, he wasn't going to be born for like 30 years.
All right. Jeff from the Borough is with us. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys? Yeah,
good.
That beer's the worst beer I've ever drank in my life.
I've never tried it, so Jeff, I can't say that I've done what you've done.
No, it's
the worst beer
worst I've ever had is Red Dog.
It's definitely not the champagne of beer.
It's worse. I can tell you that. I just want to say, guys, they've just started kind of fall golf as far as getting ready for the spring tournament.
Yeah.
And the tournament it ended yesterday. It's called the Folds of Honor. It was up in Michigan. Michigan State hosted it. Of course, the 3 service academies were in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. They had teams like Kansas, Ohio State, Texas, Illinois. There was 15 teams in it. Alabama won it. They shot 12 under. 12 under, I believe it was. Illinois finished second. They had a player that won. Have y'all heard of this guy Dominic Clemens is his name?
No.
He shot 9 under. The turn won the individual title. His 3 rounds, he shot all 3 rounds under 70. His first, he was 54 holes. First round 69, second round 66, third round 69. His second round, he shot a 66. I believe it's 500. I believe it was. I believe that's right. On 18, he eagled 18. And eagle on 18 was par 5. He did 3 eagle 18. So he had a pretty round over year school he's in. But there were 2 guys that of course taking top 4 scores. There were 2 guys shot 2 under, and their lowest score for the tournament, guy shot 4 under. James Free, I believe is his name, shot 4 over.
Yeah, Dominique Clemens becomes the first Alabama golfer to win in his debut tournament since, how about this name? You ready for this one? Justin Thomas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's puts him in pretty good rare.
Yes, I don't know what year this guy was in. I think he had a pretty good 3 rounds. Like I said, they just started getting for the spring out of Alabama.
Yeah, they do a 54 hole in the fall. They do 54 holes. It was Alabama went 12 under. Illinois, they beat him by 7 strokes there. So yep.
Yeah, top 4: Alabama, Illinois, Texas, Michigan State, Notre Dame.
Yeah,
top 5 teams. But I know they got a pretty good men's team. They've had a lot of good golfers over the years, and everything. So it's like they got off to a pretty good start. So and Saturday against Wisconsin, I think it's going to be a good ball game. Wisconsin's a quality program. They on the road, and like I said, when they in the fourth quarter or fourth quarter, they don't play. They're going to jump around, get out your seat and jump around. House of Pain's coming. And they ain't going to stand around. They going to jump around, get out your seat and jump around, jump up and get down. So they'll be get ready for a challenge when they go on the road Saturday. They say West Kentucky and all that stuff. So I know they think it's going to be easy, but they better get ready. So y'all have a good weekend, guys. See.
Thanks.
Better
Jeff,
get ready for Georgia, Jeff, and just bend over.
Jeff,
is you fixing to take a beating. If you want to talk about a good ball game, it ain't gonna be one. You can leave at halftime. 50. That's what I said on. That's what I said on the drive last night. 50. Steve asked me, "What do you think about Georgia and Kentucky?" I said 50.
Greater chance of Kentucky beating Georgia or Wake Forest beating Ole Miss?
50. That's all I'm saying. Both of them losing by 50.
Wake Forest getting rolled. Wake Forest is a 23.5 point favorite or underdog.
They might stay within 30.
They're a 23.5 point underdog.
I guess I would adjust the Wake Forest thing to 30 to 35, but they're going to take a pounding. They're going to get drilled. You know, I mean, I may be drinking the Kiffin Kool-Aid now, but they're gonna get pounded. No question about it.
Jackson Dart has a game, put himself up there. I mean, there's a lot of money going on Jackson Dart for the Heisman. He's just not a Heisman favorite according to Vegas, but there's a lot of money being put on Jackson Dart. Let's get a break in, shall we? When we come back, hey, the national championship game we know is in, or I should say Alabama's semifinal game with Michigan is in the rearview mirror. But Jalen Milroe sat down and did a podcast on the Pivot. It's with Ryan Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about walking off the field after that game and his emotions and walking into the locker room. Pretty interesting and pretty eye-opening conversation. We'll let you hear it coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. But we're going to be talking about showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon. And then even as we head into the evening, thunderstorms going to remain possible as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Temperatures drop into the mid-upper 60s. A mostly clouded, overcast sky through Friday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. Though through Friday afternoon and Friday evening, that activity should begin to become a little more scattered in nature. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck working in Morgan County, Antioch Road near Herman Bailey. That one reported with an injury. The one on 20 at Bid Garrett's off in a parking lot. No injury there. Harris Station Road in Limestone County had an overturned vehicle. That one reported with injury and still showing some firefighters on the scene. 100 block of Stillwell. That's off McKee Road. Had a structure fire there. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. 256-576-4977. Hey, how about this? You ready for this? In 25 minutes, the countdown is on.
Yep.
In 25 minutes, the Pac-2
I saw
the
this.
Pac-6.
Yeah, man, they've invited 4 teams to try to. They're trying to. What they're probably just going to do is dissolve the Mountain West Conference, and it's going to become the Pac-12 again, I guess.
So the Pac-12 at 8:00 this morning, our time, will officially announce that Boise State, San Diego State, and Colorado State, along with Fresno State, will join the Big 12 or the Pac-12.
Yeah.
They will become the Pac-12. Now, it is going to come at a price. There's going to be a cost to this. They're going to have to pay some cash because there was a scheduling agreement between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. They're going to have to pay, I think, upwards of $40 million for that. And they're going to have to pay some exit fees for these 4 schools. It's going to come at a cost. But the Pac-12 will become, or the Pac-2 will become the Pac-6. Now, here is one other thing of note with that.
Yeah.
In order for them to be taken seriously, they need to have 8 schools.
So they need to at least have 2 more.
They got to get 2 more. That is the key for them to become viable again, is that they have to get 8 schools. So they need 2 more, but this gives them 6.
Would have had them if Cal and Stanford hadn't run off to the ACC, but, I guess they were wanting some more stability and whatnot. So I would imagine they're going to have more than 8 teams. They're probably going to end up basically being a group of 5 conference. I mean, I hate to say that, but I just think that's what's going to happen. It'll probably be extremely West Coast based, but I would think that they would continue to mine the store there and then figure out. Do they even have a commissioner though? That's what I.
So the
asked.
Pac-12 has a commissioner. Yes, it is a lady.
Okay, so they've named
they
a new
do
commissioner,
have.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. Pac-12 commissioner.
Because I thought Kliavkoff.
Teresa Gould or
Okay.
Gould is her name. Yeah, she
Right.
was named on February 19th.
Yeah.
She officially began her tenure on March 1st as the new commissioner of the Pac-12. Now, these new 4 schools, it is believed that they will start in 2026. It's going to, like I mentioned, the price tag. The exit fee is $17 million per team
from the Mountain West,
with an additional $10 to $12 million penalty that would be added as part of the scheduling agreement. Now, they are saying the Pac-12 is going to help offset some of the financial responsibilities. But
With
like I
what?
said, it's going to come at a hefty cost.
Because Hellfire, how do they have any money? Unless they got it from Kamala.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ugh.
But they need to get 2 more schools. So the conference expansion is not over for the Pac-12. But it does appear that the Pac-12 is not going to dissolve completely. They are going to try to rebuild.
We have got a message wondering, are they going to be called the 6-pack right now? Is that going to be? Well, I mean, you would hope they have a long-term plan. Like they have a pretty good idea that they can attract some more schools, especially from the West Coast that, want to still be, a part of rebuilding the Pac-12, so to speak.
Right.
I don't know if they'll end up with 12 teams, But, and don't forget, they used to be the Pac-10 before they changed their name to the Pac-12. So you could always rebrand yourself.
Yep.
I mean,
because you had you had the Big 8, the Big 10, the Pac-10.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what's going to be interesting too is Gonzaga has become, their basketball program so huge that they wouldn't even probably be interested in being a part of the new Pac-12. I wouldn't think. I would think they would do the Big 12 thing before they would do that. And again, we know they've been in ongoing negotiations, but of course they don't have football either. So,
Mountain West Conference. I want to look and see who all would be viable. So you got San Jose State, UNLV, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno, Hawaii, San Diego State, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Air Force. Those are your Mountain West schools. They're taking 4 of them. So, I mean, really, unless you go out and get 2 other big names, you're right. That's a group of 5 conference. That is not a Power 4, Power 5 conference that's coming in. You got to get 2 big names, I think.
Well, I don't know that they have the power to do that. I mean, I don't know if anybody would be, because I don't think they're going to be able to offer, buku money, what I'm saying, to attract someone. That's the only reason I was saying that. I mean, Washington State and Oregon State are going to stay because, look, they didn't have anywhere to go, okay? So they're going to want to be in a league, but, what other schools, what is it going to be, like Portland State? I'm just grab bagging here, as far as West Coast, because I don't know that they're big enough either, but who are you going to attract to come over there? Are you going to, are schools like, are you going to try to attract an FCS program to make the jump, like a Montana or Montana State? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
that would still keep you at a group of 4 league.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still.
Well, I don't see any way they're ever going to be considered on the level with a big, or
Well, the Big 10, Big 12.
I mean, it's called
ACC.
It's called the Power 4 now.
Right.
I just don't see how the Pac 10, 8, not 12, however many teams they end up with. I guess they're still calling themselves the Pac-12, but I don't know how you're going to be on the same footing with those teams. I mean, you can certainly try to continue and attract enough schools to qualify as a conference, because right now you don't. But again, because if the ACC hadn't pursued them, then of course Stanford and Cal would probably be there with you, and you would already have the 8 teams you need. But they've already skedaddled over to the ACC. Yeah. So
that's a good point. There's not anybody left really out there.
Well, Coach Daddy Ball could have won that league if they had not run off to the Big 12.
He still wouldn't have won.
But he ain't worried about it, because his ass is about to bounce after this season.
Chris Smith sent us a message on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? If Proctor doesn't play any better than he did last year, and Formby doesn't play any better than he did last week, Bama could struggle. Inconsistency at both tackles equals Bama win, but a whiskey cover.
Well, I'm just going to say that Proctor improved the second half of last season. If you didn't see that in front of your face, then, learn the game, and then don't really give a damn if you like the way I phrase it or not. And then I don't think Wilkin Formby is going to be starting. I think it will be Elijah Pritchett, but that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. But I think Wilkin Formby, if you're giving up on him because of one bad game, which a lot of people have, I don't think that's smart. I think, and if you go back and actually watch the film and a couple of the penalties he got called for, well, then if that had been your son, I think you'd be a little irate that the SEC officials are that inept.
7:45 here on a Thursday morning. Again, safe travels out there. It's a little wet on the roadways.
Yep.
Be
careful out there, everybody.
Just be careful. We got to get a break in. When we come back, we'll hear from Jalen Milroe about last year's national championship game. His emotions walking off the field is pretty interesting. It's pretty eye-opening, really. He really kind of lays it all out there. We'll let you hear that and more next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a wreck at Antioch and Herman Bailey, that's in Morgan County, still may be working on it. Everything else should be pretty well cleared up now. Had firefighters on Stillwell in the 100 block, that's off McKee Road. That one should be wrapping up as well. Do you need help covering a leave of absence or maybe completing a special project? Snelling can help. They've been partnering with the best companies for over 65 years. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Y'all the best, man. Hey, just don't make sure I don't get that Moron flat.
No, sir. Not at all.
Thanks, Coach. Oh, Ronnie Stapler joining us. No, Coach, you are not going to get the Moron of the Year plaque.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Again, the conference landscape going to shake up at 8 o'clock this morning as the Pac-12 will add Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State. The announcement will happen at 8 a.m. this morning. Again, that puts the Pac-12 now 2 schools below the NCAA minimum threshold. They need 8. They'll have 6, but they have another full year yet to get those 2 because
we've been asked about, North Dakota State, South Dakota, and then, and we even mentioned Montana and Montana State, but like you pointed out, they're probably comfortable where they are financially. I don't know that they can afford.
The Missouri Valley Conference, yeah, they're
well, I mean, it's about being able to afford to play Division I football too.
Right. They're financially, the Missouri Valley Conference fits so well with what they want to do.
Yeah.
And everything. But I don't know though, with a lot of these conferences not scheduling FCS teams anymore, not wanting to schedule FCS teams, schools like North Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota State, they rely on going and playing those money games.
Yeah.
Without schools now, Hugh Freeze wants to get away from those. There's other coaches that want to get away from those games. You wonder now, is it, I know a hefty cost or costs a lot more to be full Division I.
Yeah.
But you wonder if some of those schools are thinking about making that move. I wonder then, would they make that move to go up to the Pac-12 because there's going to be less schools wanting to pay you millions of dollars to come play.
The problem, though, for me, that with the Pac-12 rebranding itself is you're probably going to have to stick to geography in a lot of ways. I don't think they're going to be able to, they might be able to throw everything they've got at Gonzaga and say, hey, do you want to change leagues? Are you ready to make that jump? Even though the Big 12 has been flirting with them, but see, Gonzaga doesn't have football, and so
that's a key.
Yeah, and they're in the West Coast Conference. Hey, are they going to go raid the West Coast Conference? You going to go get San Francisco and try to get Gonzaga, get the best St. Mary's, some of those? If you're not going to worry about football as much, because most of the schools in that league, they don't play football. And so you may have to almost rebrand yourself as a basketball conference, but San Diego State plays football, and these schools that they are attracting still trying to play. Fresno State, we know that. So they're kind of caught in a conundrum of who can you attract, and are they going to be football schools?
All right, 256-576-4977. You can visit.
And I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, you may know, you said they do have to have at least 8. Do they have to be football playing schools,
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know that answer. I know that the
somebody like Cal
NCAA
State Fullerton, I don't think they play football anymore. I think they dropped their program.
It just says the NCAA minimum requirement is 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine that it has to be football schools because when North Alabama left and they went to the UAC conference, the United Alliance Conference, they had to get the specific ones. They didn't have the right amount of a team, so they had to apply for membership or a special thing. They have it, so they don't have to worry about it. I would imagine that 8 is football. You have to have 8 football. You have to have 8 teams that play. If you're going to play football and be represented in football, you have to have 8. If you play basketball, you have to have 8. You have to have 8 in all in everything.
Then maybe they add 3 or 4 more. They're just hoop, and then
but you're going to have to get 2 that play football. Of that 4, probably got to get 2 that play football.
Have an 8-team football conference and then compete in every other sport, and you could maybe still call yourself the Pac-12 powered by the Democratic Party.
You could go out and get 2 football schools that are okay, but then also go get Gonzaga, also go get San Francisco, go get Santa Clara.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
Become 14, 15 team conference, but only have maybe 10 that play football.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of football, Jalen Milroe, he joined. This is pretty interesting. He joined the Pivot podcast, and it was with Ryan Clark. Great sit-down conversation, by the way. It's about an hour long, but it's a great football sit-down conversation. Jalen Milroe explains his mindset of what it was like walking off the Rose Bowl field after losing to Michigan and walking to the Alabama locker room.
And it was unfortunate. We lost. They won the national championship. Proud of them. Happy for them. So that was my initial, reaction, my initial feelings towards that, right? As I got to the locker room, although I was, slanted down, my head down, I rose up because I was appreciative in the moment. The last play of the game, the last play to determine our season in a sense to allow us to move forward, the ball was in my hands. So that means they trusted me, right? Coach Saban trusted me, the whole state of Alabama, everybody trusted me with the football in my hands because we're looking at a negative aspect of it. What if I scored in that play? That was a great play. That was the best play call ever. Great play call. That was a great play call by Coach Reese, and we'll be cheering, right? And so that's hindsight, but I saw it as 2 moments where I was appreciative of Coach Saban. I'll never forget, man, after the game, of course, emotions and flying like that. But I told Coach Reese, man, I appreciate you.
You've been a
commercial comes in. But anyway, he's talking about the fact that he appreciated Coach Reese and that he appreciated everything that they did because of that moment.
Yeah, I mean, and I can understand.
And here he is.
Because everyone trusted me with the football in my hand. And one thing that I do reflect on, I remember, is that once we broke that play and went to the line of scrimmage, we broke it and went to the line of scrimmage, there was no flinch in anybody's eyes. Nobody flinched. Nobody said, "No, why are we playing that play call?" Like nobody flinched at all. And so it's a part of the game. It's all about risk, taking risks. That's what the game is about. So I had two emotions, walking off that field.
And you bring up Saban too. Saban drafted me in 2005 when he went to Miami.
Yeah.
Saban, I can't say he's my boy. I don't know if you can say Saban's your boy, but like that when Saban leaves, and nowadays y'all can jump around. Y'all can play 2 games here, 2 games there. Y'all boys nowadays jump around. But how was that knowing, because you went to Alabama to play for? And he's an amazing coach now. He used to tell me what's about to come. He would tell me, hey, they're going to motion. Come here. They're going to motion to trips. They're going to throw the ball backside on the screen. They don't think you can tackle their fucking body, and I don't think you can either. That's how he talks to you. And they motion the trips, and I'd be like, oh, he just told me about to throw the screen backside.
Yeah. I don't know what's coming up next, so I better not hit that. I didn't get to that far.
Yeah,
yet.
Some of these podcasts, they don't censor
they
anything.
don't care.
Yeah, it's especially just YouTube, stuff like that.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting about Jalen Milroe, about just saying that, man, nobody flinched, nobody did anything. They trusted me with the ball. I mean, the emotion there.
Yeah, they didn't block it up properly. It didn't work, but and a lot of people wondered why they made that play call. But if you block it correctly, then people aren't going to say anything. But it is what it is. Or if you hit the right hole, but it wasn't executed well. And credit to Michigan for stopping Alabama. Credit to Michigan for winning the national championship. I know. Because of Connor Stallions, a lot of people, rip Michigan saying that they already knew what was coming, this and that and everything. But look, they're not going to strip them of the national championship. I think everybody understands that. They won it all. Alabama didn't finish. Alabama had chances to finish in the game. I don't think Alabama lost the game because of Connor Stallions. I just think they didn't, Milroe fumbled when Alabama was trying to drive and get a 2-score lead and really would have put the game away. Then Milroe did rally Alabama. They got the lead, and the defense had a chance to close the door and allowed Michigan to tie the game and get it into overtime. So again, it's just one of those things. It was a good, tough football game. Michigan won the game. You tip your hat to them, and you just kind of try to use it as fuel to going into this year. Now, and we'll see. Jalen Milroe has gotten off to a pretty good start. Had a good first game. Second game, rough, but he played really well in the fourth quarter. And I've said it, throughout this week. He's played his best football on the road in many cases. So let's see how he plays over it in Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin, coming up on Saturday at 11 a.m.
All right, Travis Reier can help us figure out how good of a game plan he might have on Saturday. He'll talk about that game and more with Travis Reier. We'll look around the SEC coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has denied allegations of sexual assault and battery that were part of a civil lawsuit filed earlier this week in Texas. The NFL Tuesday said that it's reviewing the complaint under the personal conduct policy. Watson said,
game plan and trying to be better than we were last week so we can get a W.
Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said Watson will still start Sunday against the Jaguars.
We'll let due process play out and follow the NFL's guidelines.
Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite heading in. Tonight in Miami, the Dolphins Dolphins and Bills square off, each team 1-0. Miami favored by 2.5. Buffalo plus 115. The over-under 48.5. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go, hour 2 of Talking Ball on our Thursday edition show, helping us get hour 2 underway. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. It's SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, 256-881-5151. You can experience that SportsMed difference. SEC football, a plethora of good games coming up this weekend. There is no need and no shortage of good games. You look around at some of the ones, Alabama, Wisconsin, of course, 11 a.m. We've talked about a lot of that one. You got LSU and South Carolina coming up there. You got Boston College in Missouri, Texas A&M in Florida, Ole Miss, Wake Forest.
It'll be like a florist.
I mean, Tennessee should put up you're all on the 50, or what is it? The 50. Tennessee could easily put another 50 on Kent State this
they're
weekend.
Gonna put a 50 on Nick Saban's alma mater.
They are
considering he's the boogeyman
favorites.
They're gonna run it up, considering how much PTSD they've got from Saban. Since that's his alma mater, I'm sure they'll try to score 70.
Well, they almost 50 in the point spread. 49 is the point spread there, but a lot of SEC football to talk about.
Yeah, there is, and we're going to talk about it with our next guest. He's been a huge part of this show for the nearly 10 years we've been on the air. He has now got his YouTube channel and does the SEC Second Helping podcast with our good friend Brent Beard. He also is continuing to do Talkin' Tide with Chase Goodbread and continuing to have his pulse on the SEC, and that is Travis Reier, and he's been kind enough to join us this morning. Travis, good morning. You're back in Huntsville with Drew and Scott.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're doing pretty good. I'll just start off with I know you're in the Sunshine State now, and with Billy Napier in Florida. This is probably the biggest game of his 3-year tenure there. I think this is a must-win for the Gators in the Swamp against A&M on Saturday.
Seems like we say that every week, right?
Yeah.
It was Miami a couple weeks ago, but no, I agree. It's sort of that situation now for Billy Napier. I think it's in some ways a fork in the road game for both Florida and A&M, but certainly when you talk about just coaching situations, Mike Elko not in nearly the type of dire straits a couple of games into his tenure at A&M like Billy is early on in year 3. So very interesting situation for Florida right now, because it looks like Graham Mertz going to be available after being in concussion protocol last week. DJ Lagway, the highly coveted, highly rated true freshman quarterback, looked really good. It was against an FCS program in Sanford, but looks like that's going to be a 2-quarterback situation maybe moving into this week. And, we'll see how that goes. It's not like A&M doesn't have a bit of a quarterback issue of its own, although we didn't really anticipate that with Connor Wigman coming back. But he was not sharp in that season opening loss to Notre Dame. Showed some signs of life last week again against an FCS opponent. So quarterback situations will both be on display, which typically means the run game. Montrell Johnson for Florida, Le'Veon Moss for A&M. One of those two guys will probably come up big.
You said something interesting there. Year 3 for Billy Napier. It is hard to believe it is year 3. I mean, it feels like we're still talking about maybe year 2, whatever. But this is year 3 for Billy Napier. And I think that's where the frustration is.
Yeah, I've got Florida alums in my family, and they'll tell you it's like dog years at this point. Feels like year 21. But yeah, it's rough because, Billy came in and with the moniker or the reputation of a program builder, and you just don't get the time in this era of college football to maybe do as much of that. But that's where absolutely the frustration comes in. It's not that Florida lost that season opener on its home field to somewhat of a pretty historic rival in Miami. They haven't played on a consistent basis, but when they do, it's always noteworthy. Right. It's the manner in which they were dominated. And whatever you want to say about give him time and all this, game 1, year 3 for any coach, it needs to look better and be better than it was for Florida a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah, it was just more about the organization, the execution. Florida just looked like a disjointed mess, and I was a big Napier fan. I thought he did a really good job at Alabama as an assistant, and did a great job at Louisiana. But I guess you kind of referenced it when you said program building. They don't give you a lot of time, but there just doesn't seem to be the improvement you would want to see, especially defensively. I know people talk about the quarterback, but see, Murph's got injured. I mean, he had a concussion, but defensively they haven't made much progress, Travis.
No, they don't look like the Floridas of old. And that's probably something that's been overlooked with Florida on a year in and year out basis because of Steve Spurrier and because of Urban and the offensive success in those periods, is that the one consistent a lot of times with Florida, at least going back to my formative years, was the defense.
Yeah.
And it's been anything but Florida-like the last couple of years. And, Billy made a hire that Austin Armstrong coming in as a very young defensive coordinator a couple of years ago, still learning very much and really didn't have the personnel at kind of the same time. And now you go and you bring in a veteran assistant in the most previous offseason to try to pair up with Austin, but it's been problematic, no doubt about it. I mean, there are some pieces on that defense. I think Pup Howard coming in from South Carolina as a transfer has been a really good thing for them at the linebacker position, but still, just based on eye test, this Florida defense hasn't looked like some of the other ones we'd seen.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, if Mike Elko comes in to Gainesville in his first year, Texas A&M hasn't won a road game in 10 tries, but if Mike Elko comes in his first season to the Swamp and gets by Billy Napier in somewhat of a convincing fashion, wow. I mean, Billy Napier's seat is not just going to be hot. I don't know if he can sit down hot.
It's just so loud anyway down there. And it was incredibly loud in the days after that loss to Miami. I mean, you had crazy talk bounding around Alachua County and beyond because, Urban has said he's interested in coming. This is the craziness, the bizarreness that comes into play in this era with social media and so many voices and avenues for folks to voice their displeasure. We used to think it got loud with, sports radio, newspapers, things like that. And it's still a part of it, a big part of it, no doubt. But now it seems like it's tenfold when situations go south.
It does. And I hadn't even heard that. So do you think that's serious? I've kind of thought Urban was, I don't either. I've kind of thought Urban was just good with doing the TVs and the podcasts
If Urban thought the SEC was too much when he left,
Lord,
and that's even without Nick Saban now. Yeah. Here's what I go back to with Urban in Florida. He doesn't want to go back to Florida knowing first and foremost he's got to deal with Kirby.
Yeah,
I mean that's where it starts if you're the Florida head coach.
Yeah,
if I were a guy like that considering a job, okay, well let me think about the people I'm really going to have to deal with first and foremost on a daily basis. So you're basically walking back into a situation similar to what you had that kind of pushed you out when you left before.
Yeah, just a different school, no doubt. And you're one of your historically biggest rivals, and that's the Georgia
you got to
Bulldogs.
beat Georgia.
Yeah, you got to.
I mean, it's didn't Mark Richt, or Jim Donnan or something, you're going back in there again. So,
Yeah.
and guys like Kirby, like Nick, they relish that, so it just amps them up even more, I think.
Yeah.
So South Carolina takes on LSU on Saturday. And a lot of people are like, man, I can't believe College Game Day is actually going to Columbia, South Carolina.
And there might be a monsoon.
Yeah. But, I mean, this South Carolina team, you want to talk about how we can overreact to a performance. They don't look good in their season opener. They go to Kentucky. They get some great breaks. They don't look great, but they look good enough to get a win. Now they have a chance to beat LSU. Maybe.
I haven't been able to decide yet about last week's game at Kentucky, if it was SC really taking a step forward, or was Kentucky just that bad last Saturday? That was awful from Kentucky. But
I like how you say that.
Give South Carolina credit. I didn't have South Carolina going on the road and winning that game, and certainly not in the fashion in which they did. And it looks like, in terms of getting after quarterbacks and getting pressure, they're going to be able to do that with Dylan Stewart, Kyle Kennard, guys like that. For LSU and South Carolina coming up Saturday, can either of these offenses run the football? It just feels like we expected so much from LSU, and I know John Emery's down now with the knee injury at the running back position, but just with that offensive line and their ability to stretch the field vertically in the passing game, you just figured this LSU run game would be better than it is. And so that's the question, I have for both these teams going into that one. And I guess ultimately, though, if it comes down to quarterbacks, I'm going to take LSU's in this situation. I mean, it's Garrett Nussmeier and those receivers. If they need to get it done, I think they can.
Well, and I think if LSU loses this game, though, that there's going to start being some eyebrows raised at Brian Kelly and about progress.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so it is. It's kind of like Texas A&M and Florida. That sort of gateway game or that fork in the road game in September that we've seen throughout the years. It used to be for Alabama, Arkansas about this time. Remember, that was always sort of the gateway game. Or Florida, Tennessee used to be this weekend or next weekend in the East in the old divisions. And that's what these games kind of feel like.
Well, speaking of Alabama, they travel to Wisconsin on Saturday. Alabama, a 16-point favorite. Luke Fickell, we're talking about being a program builder. Luke Fickell is trying to build and rebuild this Wisconsin program. Don't know if they have enough yet to hit Alabama where it hurts, but there's a lot of feeling around this because of how Alabama played in that first three quarters against South Florida that maybe, but we don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the classic game of styles. I think what helps Alabama in this game is that it can play either way. I think it's going to be able to line up, especially if that offensive line is whole for the first time this year, or at least close to it, depending on the situation at right tackle. I think Alabama can win in a phone booth if it needs to. But obviously, I think Alabama looks at this game and thinks, boy, in terms of explosiveness, big play ability, it's very much in the corner for Alabama. Now, Wisconsin, traditionally, it's been, let's turn this thing into kind of a slugfest between the tackles. They've been able to do that over the course of the years, whether it was Ron Dane many years ago or, say, Braylon Allen here or Jonathan Taylor in recent years. But they're going through some transition there after Allen moved on to the National Football League. So it's a little bit of a by-committee approach for Wisconsin in the run game. And this seems to line up with a strength for Alabama when you look at the defensive front and the linebacker levels, being able to stand in there against a Wisconsin run game and then perhaps force Tyler Van Dyke in that passing game into that uncomfortable area of 30 plus or so pass attempts. Now, that's ideally, I'm sure what Kane Womack and that defensive staff would like to see Saturday.
Yeah, and then Milroe, to me, last year, Travis, now this is a new staff, but I thought he played his best football on the road last year.
He did. He really played great, played at a high level on the road. And so that part of it shouldn't be a big concern for Alabama. Plus, it's an early kickoff.
Yeah.
You do have a veteran at really key positions throughout the football team, not just quarterback, but inside linebacker, the safety spots. You got a veteran center in Parker Brailsford. So you're kind of equipped for what this could bring to you in terms of taking it on the road. But again, I just think for Alabama, the big thing is cleaning up the mess from last week. Can't be +3. Things that will give Wisconsin a chance on Saturday are being +3 in turnover margin.
Right.
And, 12 or 13 penalties from Alabama.
Exactly.
Either or of those could, but if you put them together, then Wisconsin's right there in the conversation.
And now I'm gonna quote our good friend Vern Lundquist. And is this going to be a mauling in Kentucky?
Wow. I mean,
say yes.
This was a game you were actually anticipating before last Saturday. This was that game that you circled and thought, this could be sneaky interesting up in Lexington. But boy, after last week, it's hard to feel that way. Everything's on the table, I think, for Kentucky at this point, and a lot of it I don't think is positive after that most recent performance, because looking at the schedule, it seemed almost a guarantee that for a 9th straight year, Kentucky would go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
Under Mark Stoops. Now, after last week, you're left to wonder if this team can win 4, 5, 6 games. So, I don't think it's a winnable game for Kentucky. Georgia has reached that point as a program where it feels like an inevitability in these kind of games. So they're going to need some help, I think, on their home field. And look, it's not like Georgia doesn't know the quarterback on the other side, right? Brock Vandegrift. So there's not a lot, I don't think, working in Kentucky's favor this week.
One of the games that's really, we've talked a lot about it. Missouri's a 17-point favorite hosting Boston College. Boston College got the best of Florida State already this year. They're inside the top 25. Missouri has looked okay. They haven't shown a lot of explosiveness. Is this a game where Missouri is this a tough one for Missouri? Because after this, their schedule really favors them.
It does, but they got to see our guy Diego Pavia next week.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
No, it really is. It's crazy how things change in real time once the season starts, right? Because BC, you looked at this first 5 games or so for Missouri and thought, wow, maybe check back October 5th when Mizzou goes to Texas A&M. But this is good that we're going to have this kind of matchup with Bill O'Brien and BC. I like the quarterbacks for both teams in this matchup. Thomas Castellanos, thought he was really good against Florida State. I think last week against an FCS team, he was 9 of 10 for 220 plus. And these are both quarterbacks that can do it a couple different ways. So I think it has a chance to be an exciting football team. And I think that, BC can at least, if you're Missouri, give you a little bit of a checklist coming out of this game, even if Missouri does win the game in commanding fashion eventually. But I'm thinking it might be a 4-quarter type game, because I could see both these offenses kind of grinding it out a little bit. Obviously Luther Burden on the outside and Weiss, the wide receivers for Missouri are week in and week out. You're going to expect them to be very good, but the legs for these quarterbacks are what I'm interested to see in terms of how they extend plays and keep drives alive.
And what Travis Reier is saying is that what we could see next week, if both these teams take care of business, is College Game Day in the other Columbia, Missouri, and break up the doors, huh? Look at that.
Diego in the doors instead of Benny in the jet.
Yeah. If they beat Georgia State on the road, as people are anticipating, how crazy would that be? Unbeaten Vandy, unbeaten Missouri. Everybody saw that coming, So
this is a spot, though, that scares me with Vandy.
Yeah.
After
in the past, this is where they would,
go to the old Brave Stadium and take the big sombrero or something.
Yeah. I hope not. Well, Reier on YouTube does an outstanding job covering the Southeastern Conference. Travis, let everybody know what you got coming up and how to follow your work.
Just head on over to Twitter or X or whatever you call it these days. I'm there at Travis Reier on X and Twitter. And then, of course, our YouTube channel, Reier on YouTube. Go to YouTube, just put Travis Reier in the search. It'll take you straight to the page, and plenty of content on just about a daily basis for college football, Alabama, A little bit of everything going on right there right now.
Thank you, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
And then I got to correct myself where the mauling was actually Brent Musburger, and it was Alabama and Notre Dame, which was glorious. It was not Vern.
That was a mauling.
Vern was Orlando McCain.
That was also the Brent Musburger girlfriend game too.
No,
right?
but not and the one. And now Jeff's probably going to get mad and chew through another Marlboro, but it was actually
he doesn't smoke.
Why? But I'm just saying that
I know.
The one Vern said is against when Alabama was. Destroying Urban Meyer in Florida in his first year. He said, "This ain't Kentucky."
Oh, we can pile on the Kentucky jokes. They're going to get piled on this weekend.
Well, I don't see any way. Now, it'll be the biggest win in Kentucky football history if they pull this off. And it would be Mark Stoops' biggest win. I mean, and of course, Jeff would call every day.
He would have every right to call because it would be a huge upset.
It would be
but
huge.
I don't see it happening.
I don't even in Kroger Field, but they've had so much trouble with Georgia, and Georgia's basically toyed with them no matter where the game's played. So I can't see
It's a
Kentucky.
shame they put this game on ABC because
oh boy,
6:30 ABC game. Be a lot of people turning over to watch Mississippi State and Toledo on ESPNU. We got to get a break in. When we come back, that's no disrespect to Mississippi State, though, either. Got to get a break. We're talking ball and we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I don't see anything new accident-wise. Last working accident was that one on Antioch at Herman Bailey. That one's in Morgan County. They should be about ready to wrap up on it. Everything else looks good. We are dealing with a heavy traffic load, though. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Situated downtown on Clinton Avenue, you'll find the Church Street family's take on delicious seafood and more. Sea Salt. At Sea Salt, the food speaks for itself. Fresh oysters, shrimp and lobster, and non-seafood fare. Plus a large selection of wines, regional and local beers on tap, and a full bar. Catch the downtown vibe with Sea Salt's unique outdoor city street and patio seating with a view of Jesse Andrews' mural, bringing an underwater world to life. No reservations necessary. Sea Salt, 114 Clinton Avenue.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. During the break, you partook. You and Bailey did. I did not. I held strong. You partook.
We appreciate him for
you partook in a Coca-Cola flavored Oreo for the very first time. Now, I will say this. I've not found it yet on the shelf. I know it exists, but they make a sugar-free Coca-Cola Oreo flavored drink now as well.
That scares the hell out of me, to be honest with you.
But your thoughts on the Coca-Cola flavored Oreo?
We appreciate our fine staff here at 97.7 taking care of us and leaving us some, but very interesting. They smell like Coca-Cola.
They do smell like Coca-Cola. I will say that.
They have an aftertaste of Coca-Cola. I had a couple of them. A little bit weird having a red Oreo.
It's a red top and the traditional Oreo color on the bottom.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, pretty. I know Bandy. Bandy, what did you think? I know you partook.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah,
more minty than I thought it'd be.
Minty, yeah.
Two thumbs up or one thumb or no more? Are we going?
Bandy's halfway. I think he's like
going
Siskel
halfway. And Ebert back in the day.
I'd give it a thumbs up. I mean,
all right.
This is definitely not whatever the hell that great Mountain Dew was that I had to spit everywhere.
What was that one?
I can't even remember. I can't remember what they called it. High volt. I don't know what the hell. I just know that I had to mix it with cranberry juice, man, because there's no way in hell I was going to be able to get it down any other way.
I'm right there with you. I got a peach and lemonade flavor Mountain Dew here, like
what?
Freedom Fusion.
Freedom Fusion. I never heard of that. How is that? Is that a thumbs up?
That's pretty good. I give it a thumbs up.
Okay. I thought you were just drinking water there, man. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Well, we've had other people that appear to be drinking water, but they were not.
Oh, that'll knock you down.
Anyway, Steeler Mike is with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, you're in the state of Alabama, and the best sports talk radio show is talking about the Mountain Dew flavors.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't remember. I can't remember what the hell it was called, man. It was just nasty. I got a 2-liter of it just to try it, and I'm like, surely Great Mountain Dew is going to taste good. Holy Toledo.
I hear you, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, there you go.
I hear you.
It was bad.
Well, boys, I don't know if you can feel it or not, but I sure can. The National League shaking in their shoes after the Pirates have managed to win 4 in a row and are only 10 back in the wild card, 15 back of the Brewers, and dead last and in comfortable position. It's where we are. But wanted to call in and ask about Alabama-Wisconsin game a minute. Heard some rough stuff on Alabama's offensive line, over the week. And, it's still early. They had some guys hurt, and just wanted to get y'all's take on the offensive line and this week. And as always, fellas, go Vols and go Steelers.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm just I know what it was called. I just found it. I had to look it up while Steeler Mike was on the phone. And boy, it was bad. It was called Mountain Dew Pitch Black, and it was pitch awful. Oh God. Are you talking about some awful stuff? Now I'm sitting there, Bandy's got me all interested in this crap because he's drinking this stuff over here. So I'm looking it up, and now they've got grape. It's called Purple Thunder Mountain Dew. Have you heard of that? I mean, they're telling me it's at Kroger's.
You've eaten 2 of those Oreo cookies and you have come to life.
Well,
it's like a little kid on Halloween.
I don't know, man. I mean, I decided to try them, and we appreciate the gift.
Anyway, though, Steeler Mike was talking about the offensive line again, and
Yeah.
You've addressed it
that's
already.
That's going to be
in
the biggest
show.
key
Yes.
to this game coming
Yes.
up on Saturday. If Alabama can handle business and win comfortably, it's because the offensive line is going to play well. If Proc coming back, and then if Elijah Pritchett's in at the right tackle, and if they struggle, then it's going to be a struggle again, because it all starts up front. You have to win games, inside out, no matter what kind of football you play, offensively or defensively. It starts up front. And so if Alabama can play with consistency up front, you heard Travis Reier from Reier on YouTube say, if they can cut out the penalties and not turn the ball over and play with consistency, and a lot of that starts with the offensive line, then they can win comfortably on the road. But if not, then you're in for a hornet's nest, because there's going to be 80,000 liquored up fans in that stadium, and they're going to be very excited. And they're 2-0, and Alabama's 2-0, and that's all that matters right now. And it's the first road game of the Kalen DeBoer era.
And it's the first road game for Alabama, having to play in Wisconsin with full beer, baby.
Yeah.
They're going to have a few 6-packs there in Madison, a little old Milwaukee's best.
And now we have the news from Bruce Feldman. Sounds like that vote has already been taken, and they have voted unanimously to admit Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State.
Yep. So, remember, 8 o'clock, they had the press conference. They announced it. They've got the new logos out already.
New logos.
Yep. And everybody is already making
branding.
gifts on the fact that it's a 6-pack.
Oh, you found it.
Well, this is Kenny Rogers.
I know. I saw
Love
this
will
movie.
turn you around.
I can't say it on the radio, but it's the first time I heard a certain name, and it starts with C, and there's a C and an S in it. I can't say it on the air, though.
Oh.
There you go. It's a good movie.
Love will turn you around from
Yeah,
the 6-pack movie with Kenny Rogers, Diane Lane. Remember that one?
Yeah.
He drove the, I believe it was a 48 car in that one. He was a race car driver.
He was. NASCAR.
Yep. All right, we got to get you a break in, because when we come back, our good buddy Ryan Fowler will join us. We'll get his thoughts on Alabama traveling to Wisconsin and all that around the SEC and everything else. Never know what he's going to say. He'll say it to us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. But we're going to be talking about showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of the afternoon. And then even as we head into the evening, thunderstorms going to remain possible as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Temperatures drop into the mid and upper 60s. A mostly clouded, overcast sky through Friday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. Though through Friday afternoon and Friday evening, that activity should begin to become a little more scattered in nature. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like we're accident-free now. Everything from earlier should be cleared out of the way. Did get a report that the Point Mountain on 6th Avenue in Decatur, that's at 8th Street, fell. Had a couple of vehicles damaged there, but I don't think there was any injury. They're working on getting that situation taken care of now. When you join the Heart of the Valley YMCA through the 22nd, they're going to waive the joining fee, and they are going to give you 10% off on personal training. YMCAHuntsville.org. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DeBoer era begins. Touchdown, Alabama! Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide head north to the Badger State to take on Wisconsin. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the show.
Yeah.
You feeling good?
I'm all right.
All right, just making sure.
I probably won't try. I'm probably not going to trust this new great Mountain Dew either. Don't know if I can do that, man. After that pitch black garbage.
Oreo, Coke flavored Oreos have seemed to do wonders on
And even
you
if it's
this
sugar free,
morning.
I mean, you know what we've been to Atlanta and everything, and
Yes.
and Nashville, and
Yes.
and I did try that. That Dr. Pepper Zero. What was it? With strawberries and cream. And
Yes. But anyway, it's the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Oreo Limited Edition Soda.
Ugh, I don't know, man.
Anyway.
I've got enough aftertaste of Coke right now from this Oreo.
Anyway, our next guest is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. I wonder if he would partake in some Coca-Cola flavored Oreos.
Ryan Fowler from North Alabama. He's a proud North Alabamian, been a Tuscaloosa native now since his college days and building his radio program, The Game, from 2 to 6 p.m. on Talk 109. He's now joining us to talk some Alabama football, and I don't think he anticipated talking about Oreos to start the conversation. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. Oreos and Coke?
Yeah.
It's a Coke flavored Oreo. We've had a couple boxes in here. Drew has partaken in a couple of them. It's got a red cookie on top that's flavored in Coke, I guess, and then the traditional Oreo cookie on one side. It's a Coca-Cola flavored Oreo.
Yeah, Bandy had one, our producer. He gave it a shaky rating.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try it. So,
I'm in the same boat.
Scott's not an Oreo guy. He's like, I'm not doing that.
No. I'll do Oreos like in milk or more traditional things, but I mean, I don't know. There's some things that just don't go together. Like, right? I mean, it just, it's kind of like Auburn and championships. It just doesn't go together. Oreos and Coke, it just doesn't go together. I mean, there's just some things that should be separated. I like both. I'll love to go in. Brian said he came out of Coke on Saturday.
There you go.
And I may have had an Oreo Saturday night when I got home, but I didn't do the two together. But maybe I'm missing out. But I did know. Speaking of Coke, I did have a family member. This was a distant family member who used to have cereal in the morning with a soda. Like that was instead of using milk, she used like the soda. And I'm like, really? Wow. I don't know. I mean, I guess we're doing all types of things to survive. The Biden-Harris inflation. Gallon of milk's what, $7-8, whatever it is. But it's maybe this is a counter to that. Maybe Coke is cheaper than a gallon of milk.
It probably is right now.
Yeah, it probably is. So it's just throwing out some options.
Well, Alabama travels to the land of dairy. Speaking of dairy, Alabama travels to the land of dairy on Saturday.
The cheese curds.
Yeah, get some cheese curds and some milk right from the cow. But anyway, Alabama trying to go up there. Luke Fickell trying to build a program. In the past, Ryan, you look at this matchup. If it's a Nick Saban-led team, you sit up there and you think, you know what, this team's going to go out. They're going to handle business on the road. This is going to be one of those games where Alabama is just going to step on the neck and suffocate Wisconsin. There's still a lot of unknowns with this Alabama team, and especially going on the road for the first time under Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this yesterday. Is it's really hard to evaluate DeBoer's offense, right? You've watched Jalen Milroe take several steps in the right direction, but there's still some areas of his game that needs to continue to improve. Now, we've given him a lot of, margin of error when you look at this offensive line. It's hard to judge anything until you get that fixed, right? The offensive line is a situation now. My sources tell me that Caden Proctor is back, and he's not just back at practice. He's back working at left tackle in the first string. So that's an issue. Now, I will tell you that they have tried some experiments at right tackle this week. Now, I mean, some things that you're looking at going, okay, now they've got left tackle with Caden Proctor. But I need to also caution everybody. Caden Proctor is not this first-round All-American that we're just bringing off the bench. I mean, he needed spring practice. So it's not like, he's going to be plugged in and that left tackle spot's going to go from, 0 to a hero in just a matter of a couple of seconds. But then you look at that right tackle spot. I know earlier in the week, Wilkin Forby was still getting a lot of first-team reps. He's still getting some of those, but they're looking at a couple of different options. And I'm going to work on more practice availability following this morning, see exactly, because Thursday is really the telltale sign. But I do know that they even one name that I heard yesterday, and I said, how much was this? Not a lot, but there was a name that they kind of flirted in at right tackle just to see if it might even be an option. But, going on the road, it's going to be a hostile environment. I believe that Alabama's going to win, but this spread that keeps going up, 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 I don't know. I mean, 16.5 points. Guys, that seems to be a lot on the road at Wisconsin. And maybe we can just take what Texas did to Michigan. We could take what, Luke Fickell's been able to do against Alabama, in the Cotton Bowl at Cincinnati. Wasn't that officially the Rose Bowl, though? I mean, because I know we played it.
Is that the one that was relocated? I was thinking that, because that was
played in Dallas, but I believe it was the Rose Bowl. I believe you're right.
After Dr. Dumbass.
Yeah. So, so when you look at it, I mean, it's one of those that just seems to be a big spread. And this line opened up, and it immediately went. They always say the public goes one way, go the other. Well, they've driven this line up. I've seen it 16.5, 17 at some places. Now, the average is probably more like 16, but that line seems to be rather large. On the road, first-year head coach in Tuscaloosa. I don't think Alabama's going to – I think Alabama's going to win the game. I just don't know about Alabama covering. But who knows? I mean, maybe they go up there and beat them 52-3 for all I know.
Well, the interesting part is I would have thought that based upon the way he played at the last three series and he dominated, that Elijah Pritchett would be the right tackle. But you're saying that that's not a certainty right now.
We're looking at all the options. I just think I think they're still experiment to try to get the best five on the field. So I think you start with the certainties that right?
Yeah.
You've got Parker Brelsford. You've got Caden Proctor back. You've got Tyler Booker. You've got Jaden Roberts. So what do you do at right tackle? Do you let Wilkin Forby clean this up? Do you think that he's the guy? The problem with Elijah Pritchett is he looks like, and he probably even looks better for the people that I've spoken to, is if you look at him just pure on eye test, he's probably a better looking left tackle than Caden Proctor is.
Right.
But the problem is he doesn't have the want to. He doesn't have that attention to detail. And when he gets that, then he's going to be a great player. Until he gets that, he doesn't want to do the little things correct, the film study, the extra time at these other offensive linemen. If you go back to the study with all those offensive linemen when they travel to Dallas to go out and work with the offensive line mastermind, go back and look at those photos. Who was not a part of that?
Elijah Pritchett. He's got to grow up. I've been saying it all week. If Alabama wants to reach their goals, he's a talented young man who can play in the NFL.
Need him.
They need him.
No question. And especially, with a depth concern. So, it's just hard to predict. Is this Alabama team? Because sometimes going on the road will make you refocus and you have a different level of attention to detail. Hopefully for Alabama, this is the case this week, and we see maybe a little bit more of what we saw in the first game compared to what we saw in the second game.
Yeah, and penalties have to be limited too. I know the referees were maybe, a little flag happy on Saturday, maybe at times, but you can't give them a reason to throw the flag. You've got to cut down on the penalties.
Guys, that offensive line, when you think about the last 2 to 3 years of offensive line play, there's been a lot of penalties. I mean, I can't remember a run where it was just, this much. I'm not talking about just Saturday. You even go back and you think about the offensive line, the illegal procedures, the holding calls. I would be willing to say in the last three, it's just been a constant problem for this offensive line. I mean, and if they ever get that worked out, and then they can run the football and they can be more of a balanced attack, it's only going to open up that passing attack. Because the problem that I see with this offense is not being able to take advantage of these short intermediate throws. That's an area of the game that is, because right now, if you're defending, and remember now, Luke Fickell's a pretty solid defensive mind. So when you look at this from the way that he organizes against Jalen Milroe, how do you defend Alabama? You blitz them and you take away the deep ball. And you force them to do something right now that it doesn't seem like that they're very comfortable with, and that's throwing the short intermediate throws. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, it's like that's a part of the game that I think that is underutilized, and it was last year. It just seemed to be not as consistent as it needs to be.
No, it wasn't consistent Saturday. He ripped his best throw of the day to Ryan Williams, but yeah, they've got to be more consistent there. But I think it also comes back to the offensive line. The offensive line has to give him time, and he has to trust the protection, because I think there was a time by the second quarter into the third where he wasn't trusting the protection, Ryan. Especially the third quarter, most of it was really ugly because it took him till late in the third quarter to make a first down.
So when you look at this Alabama team, sometimes a road game will get you focused.
Needs to.
And for I mean, and so hopefully Alabama, when you think about this upcoming game against Wisconsin and the loud noise, sometimes the players will feed off that, and they'll kind of fuel their energy level. Hopefully you see a different level of focus, because I think that's a great way to go up and beat Wisconsin. Take the crowd out of it. Strike early. Go out and score some points. But everybody's going to be in it. I was talking with Mike Johnson earlier this week. We were talking about this offensive line and just kind of looking at it. Everybody's going to be gunning for Alabama. A.J. McCarron yesterday said on our show, he said they've been waiting because they could not take advantage of Nick Saban coached Alabama. They're waiting, and they're just dying to get a hold of Alabama, because regardless of the quality of the team, they may not be number one, they're number 4. Is when you look at Alabama, it still got that script A. It still means something. I mean, Wisconsin, they don't care if Kalen DeBoer's coaching, Nick Saban, sure. It's Alabama coming down. And that's why, you're going to see a crazy environment. And, I hope the Crimson Tide's ready for it.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be the most interesting and the biggest test yet for Kalen DeBoer heading into a bye week. And then we all know what's looming after that, and that's the number 1 team in the country, coached, by Kirby Freeze. I mean, Smart. With the Georgia Bulldogs. So it's going to be really interesting to see the progress, because that's what you're needing to see. You're needing to see improvement, and you're needing to see the offensive line and the offense as a whole. I think the defense has done a nice job, but I think offensively you're wanting to see them take the next step. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Well, Ryan, we appreciate it, man. We always enjoy the insight. I know you're going to have a great show later today from 2 to 6 on the game. Thank you, sir, and we appreciate it.
I do got to ask you. I want to ask you, though, real fast, because it's been a running joke this morning on the show. Does Kentucky stand a chance in hell against Georgia?
He's not saying that.
Oh, he left.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm saying no.
He sounds like me saying DeBoer. He's saying no.
Yeah, that's been a running joke all morning.
Yeah.
No, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. I mean, Kentucky, you are who we thought you were. Yeah, no thanks.
There we go.
It's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly, and no look ahead for Georgia to Alabama in 2 weeks. They'll take care of business.
All right, thank you,
There
Ryan.
we go. Thanks,
Appreciate
Ryan.
you,
guys. Have a great morning.
All right. So we learned a lot from that conversation. Number 1, he ain't buying in the Coke Oreos.
No, he ain't
Number
buying
2,
the
he
Coke
believes
Oreo.
Alabama will roll. And number 3, Kentucky don't stand a chance.
No. DeBoer.
No. Let's get our break in. Hey, we're going to name a team of the week.
Yes, we are. Get
We're
that
going
ready,
to name
Mandy.
a team of the week when we come back.
Congrats to them.
Yeah, if they're not too busy to pay attention.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Picked up a wreck in Decatur, 1500 block of 7th Street. That one's coming in as a no injury. And the Point Mallard sign, the big overhead sign, fell in Decatur. That's on 6th Avenue at 8th Street. Had a couple of vehicles damaged, but I think for the most part it's off in a parking lot and not causing any major problem. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. And check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get it in here. I got one thing to say.
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
You win against your rival.
6 out of 7.
You come from behind to do it. Or score late, I should say, to do it.
Yeah. Block a field goal.
Block a field goal late.
Yep.
You're still undefeated on the year.
2-0.
You're soaring into another region game this week against Huntsville High.
Huge game at Madison City School Stadium.
I believe it's the James Clemens Jets.
They are the Bryant Bank Team of the Week. Congratulations to them on that tremendous game. It was a sellout over there. It's just a tremendous rivalry between two great programs with James Clemens and Bob Jones. And hats off to that senior class for James Clemens, who has now almost even that series overall, and they bounce back and get a huge win over Bob Jones to give them bragging rights for a year. But Kelvis White's squad, they rallied. They were down big early, 27-10, but they came back to take a lead. But it showed a lot that James Clemens fought back, scored a touchdown to take the lead, and then blocked the field goal on the last play of the game to get the win. And just a huge accomplishment for Ty Doughty and that senior class. Those guys are really, really good. They're talented. They can score a lot of points. The sophomore MJ Gideon had a great game running the football for him, scored a couple of touchdowns, had a long, explosive touchdown run in the second half, and he's going to be a special player, and they've got a lot of talent. It's going to be a really big test for Huntsville and the progress they've made under Jimmy Gay. But for many years now, starting under Wade Waldrop, in the near 10 years he was there, and now with Chad McGehee, they've continued to control 7A Region 4, and that was a huge start. They got their bye week after the Gardendale win 17-10.
Right.
But to win their first region game, we always talk about how important that is, and to have it against your biggest rival was huge. And 34-31 winners. Congrats to James Clemens.
All right, they are this week's 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank team of the week.
$500 to James Clemens football program, courtesy of our great friends at Bryant Bank,
Yeah.
who do such a great job supporting high school athletics.
We'll make sure they get that money.
Absolutely.
We will make sure.
Well earned.
Yes, well earned. And don't forget, next week, we'll let you know on Wednesday. Usually we slip this in on Wednesday.
Yep.
We had it ready to go yesterday, just ran out of time on Wednesday. We apologize for that. But normally we will announce this each and every Wednesday. And don't forget, starting next week, we'll also have something new. Once a month, we're going to introduce you to the SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center Athlete of the Month.
There you go. Great honor.
And each of those winners, from the SportsMed Athlete of the Month, they will be eligible for a SportsMed scholarship, which will be presented during our Rocket City Awards next year. So not only will we have the team of the week each week, once a month we will profile your SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center Athlete of the Month on the boys and girls side, and then they will be in the running for a big-time scholarship courtesy of SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. So, folks, when it talks local, we do it. We do it. We got it for you. Speaking of that, tomorrow we're going to center around a lot of high school football as we get you ready for another Friday night football. And if you have a game tonight, make sure you grab your slicker because you may need it. You may need it out there.
You might need a tarp.
You may need to stay dry.
Yeah.
All right. Stay safe out there. If you're going to a game tonight, stay dry. Be careful. Safe travels. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning.